evening, good evening. Welcome to the show, The Rebellious Rev and the Doc. We were having some technical difficulties with starting the show, so we're going to go ahead and do things a little differently, but let's go ahead and start with this.
Good evening. Live from New York, the CC Radio Network is proud to bring you tonight's show, The Rebellious Rev and the Doc, where we talk about religion like you've never heard before. There's no evangelist here, just talk about religion with a twist. So let's get started and have some fun. Welcome our hosts for tonight, The Rebellious Rev and the Doc.
There is no heaven, there is no hell, there is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As we said before, this is the Rebellious Rev.
And I'm the Doc.
And tonight, we're going to be talking about some serious topics.
Well, it's more of a morality show than a religion show, although it is connected.
You know, everybody's probably by now has heard about Cecil, the lion who was killed.
Well, I thought it was about Cecil B. DeMille.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, well, I thought that's what you were talking about when you said Cecil. You know.
Maybe. I don't know. You know I don't know what I'm talking about half the time.
This is very true.
First thing is, before we start with tonight's show, I just want to quickly apologize for something that I said last week that may have offended a few people, or a lot of people. I'm not going to mention what I said in case you didn't hear it.
Please don't.
But definitely I apologize. I spoke out of
ignorance.
Out of ignorance, they say.
And thoughtlessness.
There's an expression that I use. It's called diarrhea of the mouth, and I really appreciate. And I'm really not happy with what I said. I apologize. And it was censored out of the show. You won't be able to hear it, but for anybody who may have heard it, I apologize. Okay, let's go back to the show. Now, before we start the show, I want everybody to hear something. This is Jimmy Kimmel.
Here's something I wanted to mention, something I saw last night. This is, or I should say was, Cecil the lion, beautiful animal, 13 years old. He'd been wearing a GPS collar as part of an Oxford University research project. They've been tracking him for years, and during that time, Cecil became like a local favorite amongst the tourists and the guides. He was always around. People loved to see him on safaris until earlier this month when a tourist on a hunting trip shot him for sport. And, of course, everyone is angry and upset. Last night I read this story. I happened upon the story, and the news report said they suspected it was a Spaniard who did it, who shot the animal. And I have to admit, when I saw it, I was so relieved it wasn't an American. I really was. I was like, this is terrible, but thank God it wasn't one of us for once. And then I went online this morning and learned that turns out it was an American. It was one of us. It was a dentist from Minnesota who paid $50,000 to shoot the lion. According to the news, he hired a company. He flew to Zimbabwe. Two locals took him to the national park. They tied a dead animal to the back of a Jeep to lure the lion out of the park because it's illegal to shoot them in the park. They call it baiting. And once they got the lion out of the park, they put a spotlight on him, and then the dentist shot Cecil with a bow and arrow. But the arrow didn't kill the lion, so they tracked him, and 40 hours later shot him with a gun, skinned him, and took the head and left the body there. Now, unfortunately for them, the researchers at Oxford who were tracking Cecil were able to trace the signal and find the carcass, and the local authorities found the hunters who they say they realized too late that they shot an animal with GPS. They tried to destroy the tracking collar, but failed to do that. So they know who it was. The American hunter, whose name is Walt Palmer, is currently in hiding. He closed his dental office in Bloomington, Minnesota, and he emailed a statement to the news saying, I had no idea that the lion I took was a known local favorite until the end of the hunt. Which, first of all, stop saying you took the animal. You take aspirin. You killed the lion. You didn't take it. And he continued, he said, to my knowledge, everything about this trip was legal and properly handled. I relied on the expertise of my local professional guides to ensure a legal hunt. Which, okay, good. Let's say we accept at face value that he thought it was legal and properly handled and didn't know the lion had a tracking collar. It was a local affair. The big question is, why are you shooting a lion in the first place? I mean, I'm honestly curious to know why a human being would feel compelled to do that. How is that fun? Is it that difficult for you to get an erection that you need to kill things that are stronger than you? If that's the case, they have a pill for that. It works great. Just stay home and swallow it, and you save yourself a lifetime of being the most hated man in America who never advertised Jell-O pudding on television. And by the way, I'm not against hunting. If you're hunting to eat or to help keep the animal population healthy or it's part of your culture or something, that's one thing. But if you're some a-hole dentist who wants a lion's head over the fireplace in his man cave so his douchebag buddies can gather around it and drink scotch and tell him how awesome he is, that's just vomitous. And this guy must have quite a collection of animal heads because, well, here he is posing next to a bear he shot. In 2008, he was convicted of a felony for lying about where he killed a bear in Wisconsin. He got a year probation for that. This is another lion he killed in 2008. This is a leopard. This is a rhino. He killed like half of Noah's Ark. And I don't get it. I also don't think it's the answer is to start a witch hunt for the guy. Some people online are saying we should skin him and feed him to the lions, or which it's crazy, but it should be handled in a lawful way. And the men who took him out in the Jeep should be made accountable too. But in the meantime, I think it's important to have some good come out of this disgusting tragedy. So this is the website for the Wildlife Conservation Research Unit at Oxford, wildcru.org. These are the researchers who put the collar on Cecil in the first place. They track the animals and study them. If you want to do something, if you want to make this into a positive, you can. Sorry, okay, I'm good. Make a donation, support them at the very least. Maybe we can show the world that not all Americans are like this jackhole here, this dentist, the top dentist. I am Jimmy Kimmel. If you like that, subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all our latest videos before they die and go to YouTube heaven.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jimmy Kimmel, as you probably know. He made quite a statement.
Well, that certainly is everything in a nutshell. I mean, certainly, and then, when he listed all the other animals that the man has killed and mounted, and for what purpose? The days of the great white hunter in England, I mean, that was like the turn of the from the 19th century into the 20th century.
Who's the president of ours that did it? Teddy Roosevelt?
Teddy Roosevelt was a hunter.
Yeah.
But but still, all right, like I said, he was president in the 04. Bottom line.
People didn't know about conservation and about different things, and
but like I said, at the end of the 19th century, into the 20th century, it was quite common in England. The great hunters were all British.
Plus, also they were hunters. They didn't go and put spotlights to stun the cat so he won't move while they shoot him.
Well, yeah, the whole thing was the
stage.
It was the hunt. That was it. It was the hunt.
This was not
man against beast.
This was not a hunt. This is what.
No, they ambushed them.
No,
they set him up.
Yeah, but there's a law. He broke the law. Well, poaching. They're calling him. They're saying it's poaching, and now they're trying to extradite him back to Zimbabwe. Is it country?
Yes.
The problem is nobody knows where he is. His office is locked up. His house has got mail.
Well,
up high.
He is a dentist, correct?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll go to Brazil and he'll hang out with Joseph Mengele. He was a dentist also, wasn't he? And he was very much hated.
Yeah.
Okay, for his wartime atrocities.
There was actually somebody in Spain, when they mentioned Spain, that put a price on this guy's head. I don't know if that's true, but that was one of the stories that came out.
Could you imagine having a lion's cage in a circus, and then, on the solid part of the cage where there are no bars, mount this guy's head,
Yeah.
Have the lion mount his head.
And what he did was totally, if nothing else, was totally illegal. There are actual, and you can go to South Africa, they have farms that harvest lions to be hunted. That might be sound just as cruel, but at least it's not illegal. This guy knew what he was doing. He went in there because he wanted that particular cat, because that cat was really a real prize. It's a beautiful cat.
That's a pun. A pride, because lions travel in prides.
Yeah. And
you didn't even realize that. See that, Felix?
What they said was he had, in his pride, he had 5 or 6 cubs. And normally, that he was the father of it. Normally what happens is, once the father is killed, then the cubs are usually killed by other males. But they said that the brother of Cecil took over and is protecting the cubs. So they were afraid they were not going to survive. Now it looks like they have somebody else that's actually watching over them and taking care of them. So that's something, I guess. And but other people are saying, why are you so worried about a lion when ISIS is slaughtering all these people, chopping off heads, and they're probably mounting them also? The outrage is not there like it is, with the lions. The outrage is not there when somebody kills people in the movie house. And I guess the reason for that is these animals can't protect themselves. They don't kill other animals normally of their own species. Probably human beings are the only ones that kill species for sport, kill each other, and do a lot of ugly things. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'd love to have somebody give me a call at 646-595-3275. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. What should be done to that hunter, to the dentist? You think he should be extradited? What do you think? I don't know. I'm just going to ask Mark. Do you think this guy should be extradited?
Oh, I don't know about extraditing him back to Zimbabwe, but he certainly should face some sort of charges. I mean...
well, he broke no laws in the United States. That's the problem. He broke
I wonder if the NRA will defend him. They defend everything else and everybody else.
He shot him first with a bow and arrow.
No, that was at first, then he
yes.
killed him with his rifle.
Well, I'm not sure who actually did the actual shooting with the. But that's after 40 hours of that animal suffering, and they were probably tracking it. I don't understand.
I don't either.
People. But anyways, I said, call us. Give us your opinion.
Well, one of the things If you remember the Planet of the Apes, one of the things that they stress